Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching us. I am Kaitie Zhee. I'm here with Luke Stokes, the Managing Director of FIO, and we're here to bring you a weekly update. So this is something that we've talked about from the marketing team and the business development team that we feel would help really connect the community, give you guys a quick weekly update, about 15-20 minutes or so, give you a high level of some of the activity that is going on, and you could just download that in a quick little view. Thank you, Luke, for doing this with us.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about it. We've talked about this for so long. It's fun to actually get it started. This is kind of like a preview of what we hope to be doing every week next year.
Yeah. This video, one of my objectives with it is like really just to connect with the community. Running a lot of the marketing on FIO, I am always super interested in hearing, what interests people, what don't they like, what just getting a pulse on how they are, what their experiences, what their interactions are with the protocol, what opportunities they identify. And the cool thing is about having this decentralized autonomous consortia, it's a mouthful, is having the worker proposals. So that's also just an open invitation for anyone that's interested in this vision, in this project, and seeing it to its potential. In an open call, a welcome to join us, however your skills fit. So this is, let's see, what's today is the 30th. So we're at the end of the year, December 30th, and there's been so much activity that has been going on since the launch of mainnet earlier this year. The team has been growing. The address registrations is growing, week over week, month over month, and integrations are just keep happening month over month. There's new announcements as well. So a lot of exciting stuff. And I think for this week, maybe if we touch on a little bit of the year in review at a high level. Anything you want to shine a spotlight on that you're particularly proud of, Luke?
Oh man, yeah, there's so much, like you said, so many cool things. I think obviously March, the mainnet launch, there was, as you know, like the DAPX team that was originally funded to kind of build the FIO protocol. They built the original version of it. They've been working together as like a team for almost 2 years, at that point leading up to that mainnet launch. And then to see the community come together, I started a year ago as the managing director with the actual nonprofit Cayman Foundation, the Foundation for Interwallet Operability, and seeing that come to fruition and like seeing all the block producers come together, all my friends from the Steam and Hive and EOS community, some of the most technically excellent people in the delegated proof of stake space come together and help launch that chain, I think was by far the biggest accomplishment. And then the next, I would say, probably is what happened this month. So actually that DAPX company is essentially no more. Those individuals are now all working directly for the foundation with their own individual worker proposals. They have their own LLCs, their own companies. It's an independent group of people that are still have that shared goal, that shared passion to see crypto easier to use for everybody. And so it's been really neat. And then, as you said, growing the team, bringing on more marketing, biz dev, UX, UI, PR, sales. So it's been fun to see kind of that community growing and people getting excited about it. And then, of course, the integrations, just seeing so many great integrations. We had another group that came in October because they had that deadline on the blockchain to get their integrations done. And that included Koinomi and Shapeshift and a lot of other really great wallets. And then we have some more we just announced that are coming Q1 next year. And so it's just, it's exciting. We've got more than a dozen now integrations of wallets and exchanges. And I think probably for me, it's kind of more recently, we had that interview with the CEO of Liquid Global, and just hearing him share stories of $240,000 of lost failed deposits from 21 different people in a period of like less than 2 months. That was just so motivating to me that what we're doing matters. And so there's a lot of cool things going on. I could probably go on and on.
I definitely want to make time to talk about that, because I think that is such a prime example, and it's not coming from us, it's from the outside real world experience that exchange is having. And they are by no means an anomaly in this industry, to just shine a light on what is going on. Crypto is still super complex. Don't need to tell anybody that, they know it. And how that is hindering people from coming into the cryptoverse. So and FIO is Seth from Liquid Global is like super excited. Yeah, he said this is our passion project right now, which was really cool to hear. Some of the other stuff, the integrations, I think by January or so, we're going to be at around 17, if my math is right. And it's been a lot of work,
Pretty
right?
amazing for a project that is, again, less than a year old as far as mainnet launch. We're 9 months in, and to have, and these aren't just kind of like unknown names, this is Edge Wallet, this is Shapeshift, this is Infinito, Konomi, like really well-known, BRD, Trust, they've been in the space for a long time. So it's very encouraging.
I'd agree. I'd agree. That's one of the things that, when I met you, for those who don't know, I met Luke back in January at the North American Bitcoin Conference, and he was sharing more about FIO. And at the time, I was like, "Oh yeah, that really makes sense to me, and cool. I really like it." And then as the year progressed, we kept in touch, and I got deeper and deeper into it, and a lot of the hallmarks of FIO just resonated and aligned with me. Like when you were talking about how the DAPX group is now decentralized and they all have their own LLCs. And, this is something that I really believe in. I was really passionate about. It's something that I know is coming in terms of like organizing structures. How do these things come together and work? And we're all figuring it out as we're going along. But what's cool is being a part of FIO, you're authoring that. Like you are writing the rules for, the next generation of companies and stuff. So I love that.
And just real quick, I want to pause there a bit. Like that gets me so excited because, as you know, I've been working with EOStack and DAX and DAOs for years now. I've been very, very passionate about decentralized autonomous communities and how these can come together. And to see more and more people, entrepreneurs like yourself, to say, "Oh, hey, I get it now. This is kind of the future of business. Why would we have these centrally controlled entities where all the profit funnels into one, CEO or something like that? Instead, what if we all independently, with our shared goals, work together?" With a mutual understanding. And it's just, I agree. I think it's the future. I think it's how we're going to be able to basically evolve as a species. I'm that passionate about it. And I think, again, that the blockchain technology is specifically designed to be able to help this type of thing happen. Like you couldn't have done this with the same level of transparency, multi-signature control of funds, the clarity and everything else. It's nothing new in terms of how humans interact. You've had, co-ops and things of that nature for a long time, but it's kind of the first time that we've had the tools to do it, like this Zoom call as an example, where we can do it as relational, connections and still have these kind of on-chain tools for transparency and, just even be able to pay people in FIO requests, for example. That idea that I did a post recently on that, where you can actually kind of like, if you're a company in the crypto space, you can actually use crypto directly. And oh yeah, we have a post about this. And so it's like, you can actually, it's called dog fooding. If you're in the software space, you know what that means. It's using your own technology basically. But this idea that if you're in the crypto space and you're paying your employees or your vendors, you can use FIO requests to do that really easily. Because we talked to one of the groups we were talking to, and they were saying how it was really complicated. Like every month, they have to get a Bitcoin address, and then they have to do a test send. And like, did you get it? Is that really you? Was there a man in the middle attack? And for me, it's just so easy. FIO requests out, each one of the team members sends me a FIO request on the first of the month. I go ahead and review it, check it with the accounting and approve it, and the payments are sent. And it's super cool to see, like, we're actually making this easier to use crypto in the real world. And we're using our own technology as we're doing it, making it better. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk about that. So this video, and I will link it into the YouTube when this is published, all of these links that we share. So, don't worry about like pausing and trying to read something that's on the screen. It'll all be linked below. But so the video or the fireside chat that you did with Seth, the COO of Liquid Global. Now he's been there for about 3 years, I think he said. He's been in the space for much longer than that, I think. And the first chat, if there's any discussion that you watch about FIO, I would say it would be that one. Like, go watch the full thing. It is a little long. It's about 50 or so minutes. But Luke, you edited some of like the highlights just to give people the quick and dirty from it. Do you want to talk about what was like just so cool from that?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it was so encouraging because here's this person who's validating all the work we've been doing for years to say this matters. And it was actually, there's a piece of it that's actually really sad as well, which is there's someone who basically had their life savings, $40,000 they spent, where they had sold a farm and they had these tokens and they sent it off to the exchange. And due to some weird issue with MetaMask, like a few characters were off, and they contact the exchange saying, hey, you got this, right? And they're like, no, we have no control over that. That's not an address we control. And those type of errors happen all the time. And this was like, he's like, I'm not making this up. This was 10 days ago. And he's reading me the customer email. And it was just so real, really emotionally connecting to the pain of this user and realizing like, we've got to make cryptocurrency as easy as PayPal or Venmo. We can't have this fear and uncertainty about how it actually works and making sure the money's going to get there, because it's irreversible. You make one mistake and it's gone forever. So the concept of not just wallet naming, but field requests and metadata, so you can know that this is the transaction, what this is for. All of that is just so important. So yeah, it was just really neat to have a cheerleader in the industry working at a tier 1 major exchange saying like, this is super important. What you guys are doing is really, really matters. And my hope is that other crypto enabled products and wallets and exchanges will get a chance to maybe at least just watch the summary, just 3 minutes, and realize like, oh, this matters. Like if we want to make our industry better, we have to like devote some time and energy and resources to this. Another thing you mentioned that I thought was interesting is the development time and how it hinders their development process when an engineer has to be pulled off a sprint to go deal with this, failed deposit and actually recover the funds. And they talked about, again, $240,000 in funds recoveries in just 2 months in 21 separate issues. And that type of stuff, like, man, it just brings it home that what we're doing is really important. And I just so appreciate the community that continues to support us and gets why we're doing what we're doing and how important it is.
Yeah, so it's definitely like it's twofold. So on the front end, we have the users who are having those, very real experiences. And if you've been in crypto long enough, we've all had them, right? I don't know one person that is like, yeah, I've got this spotless record in crypto. Like it doesn't exist. And but to hear them from, other people's mouths, especially that story that you were mentioning about the farm, it just hits home. And crypto is very exciting, but it can be a little bit of a slippery slope if you're not, knowledgeable enough to know how to not avoid certain mistakes. If you want to be the custodian of your own crypto and be your own bank, you're then assuming all of the security layers that a regular bank would have in place on your behalf. And so, FIO solves part of that problem in a very significant way. And then on the back end side with the exchange, what you were mentioning, and this really resonated with me because I deal a lot with businesses. Um, he was saying that it could take up to 5 hours where he's got to pull his developers off. And I don't know if how informed people are about what a blockchain developer costs. So one, they don't come cheap, and also they're working on these sprints, like you said. And so when they pull someone off for, what could be $100 or less to address that, just to, keep that customer satisfied, happy, having a good experience in crypto, it comes at a real cost that goes beyond just the financial. It's also the opportunity costs with their sprints. And so, it'd be good to kind of quantify that at some point so that we can say to the community, like, look, this is the size of the problem that FIO is solving. We know it's huge. Um, do you want to touch on so the other things that I like about FIO is that the decentralized nature of it. I don't want to be able to just be shut off, from access to finance. And most people look at me and they think, oh yeah, no, she has full access to finance. That's not true. I've been cut off from Chase Bank. My first Coinbase deposit to my Chase Bank account, they're like, oh, no, we're closing your account. I'm like, great. Then I've had, I can't get access to loans and different things from history with student loans and divorce and whatever fun stuff. But the pain is real. And without Bitcoin and these decentralized currencies, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like that's a fact. And so I'm super passionate about empowering the rest of the world with being able to have that same level of control over their own finances and, destination, if you will. And if this were done, if FIO were done in a centralized manner, that's an immediate risk for them to have the same exact exploitation that the banks and the governments are doing around
Yeah, I mean, this is the main reason I'm involved in the project. I mean, this is it right here, that this is the only one that I saw that was solving the usability problem, not just wallet naming, that's, a nice convenience, but actually going, no, there's a whole value routing experience that has to be improved, which includes payment requests and contextual data about the transaction. But it's the idea that it has to be done in a self-sovereign, decentralized way, meaning I own my FIO address. I'm the only one that can set up those mappings. I'm the only one that can send a FIO request. I'm the only one that can, in my wallet, approve it and have my wallet then sign those native blockchain transactions. And the ability to do that in a way that is secured by blockchain technology is really important. It's one of the few examples I can think of that you really need that, because if anyone could come in and just change that data in the database and map it to their Bitcoin address instead of mine, that would obviously be, catastrophic to the protocol. The ability to know that that data is immutable, that it's secure, it's decentralized, it's uncensorable, meaning no one can prevent me from accessing that information and using that network. That network will always be available and online. Those are some really exciting aspects to it. And again, I think the early adopters of blockchain and crypto have been benefiting, and mainly people like myself, programmers, technical people who can do the work to figure this stuff out, because it's really, really complicated. We've all benefited from that, but it's beyond time, I think, to now get everyone else to benefit. We have all these other ridiculous kind of accredited investor laws and all these things that prevent people. It basically keeps poor people poor in many ways. It prevents people from actually controlling their own store of value and moving forward to benefit their lives and their family. It's like, yeah, you can buy lottery tickets, you can go gamble and waste all your money and just be guaranteed to lose your money. But oh no, if you want to actually make smart investment decisions, get access to DeFi, get access to all these cool things that blockchain enables you. It's like they're even trying to regulate that now in some ways. And I just think it's just silly. It's like we have to equip people to control their own store of value, to take control of their destiny, to have that personal responsibility. And if we compromise now, after we've made so much progress in the last 12 years, if we compromise and start adding layers and solutions where it's like, well, it's a bit centralized, but it benefits me, so it's okay. It's like eventually you get down this slippery slope. It's like the old saying, how do you boil a frog? You just turn up the temperature very, very slowly. And in some ways, our industry is doing this. There's a lot of really interesting projects that pay great interest rates, for example, or different things like that. But the more they get centralized, not your keys, not your coins, the more they get centralized and you have to trust other people, the more it starts to look like the entire payment industry that I spent 10 years in with my previous company, FoxyCard. You got merchant providers, you've got payment gateways, you've got acquirers, you've got the credit card companies, you've got the banks, and all these people are taking a cut. And instead, it's like, what if we build a network that's fully decentralized, fully permissionless, anyone can access, and is easy to use? And that's really why FIO matters, and it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to all the cool stuff we have going on. I'm looking forward to these calls, because I think it's going to be tricky to keep them within our little 15-minute timeline, because there's going to be so much to talk about every week. I didn't even talk about the Bravo release. It's going up on testnet today, all the technical things, the roadmap. We've got a lot of really cool stuff going on, but we could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Oh, go into it. There's
Okay.
something that I wanted to bring up too. I mean, I wanted to tease out the whole simple send thing. I haven't stopped thinking about that and what that'll do, because just, when you work in this industry, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but when you work in this industry and you have real talent and value to give to it, the demand is a lot higher than the supply for the people in this industry. And so there are an abundance of opportunities, and that's just true for any of us. And, I'm in FIO and I'm working to support this protocol because it aligns with the whole reason I got into blockchain, right? It's everybody that understands blockchain. They've all had their light bulb moment where it was just like a head rush and they suddenly understood, like a quantum leap of understanding, like, whoa, this is like big. And part of that is that the more people that are in this, the better for everybody. But we have to do so in a way that they benefit, not get hurt, right? Because if it's too scary because the risk seems too high, then we're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit and slowing ourselves down. And FIO is everybody I talk to is like, whoa, if FIO does this, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be really big because, we know that the human readable addresses are coming. Like everybody knows that. It's social media. We've been conditioned to do this. It's everything. But it's really hard problem to solve to do it in a decentralized way. Yeah, it'd be easy for FIO to set up a centralized entity and create, some business model around that, but that's not what we're really trying to do. And this is what I loved about FIO from the beginning and has not let me down yet. It's that, not to say that I think it's
I
going
just,
to.
I chuckle because it's such a great part about who we are and what we do. I was actually just talking to someone just last night who works at a crypto publication about, right? And it was just, he was really highlighting the value of what we've done in the governance and the decentralization. Like the way we've built the organization is the cool story, right? And it was just really refreshing to recognize, like, yeah, we like, and I've again taken my DAC and DAO experience to say, because in this space, people are immediately, they're critical and suspect of, like, I give someone money. It's like, okay, well, who am I giving money to? Well, how does that work? Who am I making, profitable? Who's taking our money here? Whose central entity is this? And what's so beautiful about the approach we have with this decentralized business model, this business strategy that's decentralized, is that when you pay for a FIO address or a FIO domain, you're actually contributing to everyone who created value in the network, so that whatever wallet you use to sign that transaction gets a portion of the rewards. The block producers who secure the network get a large portion of that reward. The foundation gets a small, like 5% of that reward. And the idea being that everyone who's creating value within the ecosystem in this decentralized business model gets to be rewarded. So it's very different than most people are used to. It's not like, oh, well, who's just taking my money and becoming rich and becoming billionaires? It's like, no, if you own the token, if you're participating in the ecosystem, if you're working with a wallet or exchange, or you're promoting getting them integrated, it's like any way that you're adding value, you're actually increasing the value of the whole network. And we have this little calculator that we haven't teased out yet, where you can actually put in your assumptions of how big the crypto space is going to be. And if the people in that crypto space were using FIO addresses and FIO domains, like, what would be the value of the whole network, the FIO network? And it's a really fun thing to see. It's a really amazing number based on your own assumptions, right? But it's neat to think, like, this could be a really, really globally valuable network. And it's not going to be like controlled by some central entity. It's not going to be one company or one CEO that's just like, I'm the guy that controls this, potentially multi-billion-dollar network. And so that to me is really exciting, because that's something I can trust more than just the centrally controls entity that's like, who knows who's going to be the CEO next year? Who knows what policy changes they're going to make? I know of companies that had slogans, "Don't be evil," and then now we're like, we're not so sure. And just that idea of, like, how do we govern the businesses of the future and the structures for those businesses? And that's why I'm passionate about DACs and DAOs and decentralized systems.
100%. So I want to say, you heard it here first, folks, if I can get that out. There is a calculator tool that we're working on. So if you are watching these videos, you're going to get little, like, insights that you probably aren't getting in other places. And so just a reason to do that. And if you're paying attention, I'm going to throw this out there. If you're paying attention this far and you want to drop your FIO address below in the comment section, maybe we can give out a little love to somebody in the comments. How about that?
Cool.
So Bravo, you want to talk about Bravo?
Oh yeah. So this is an important upgrade. I mean, you can actually go into our GitHub. You can go into our Confluence. There's a whole section there for the developers. You can track, daily, everything that they're going on, the roadmap, everything that's all there. If you go to our Confluence, and we will definitely include that link in below, you follow up all the details. But this is kind of our next major release that the team has been working on. There's a number of what we call FIPs. These are FIO improvement proposals. And the process is that we design, architect an improvement to the protocol. We put it out there to the community of block producers, wallets, anyone who's integrated the protocol has an opportunity to comment and talk about this. And we go through rounds of adjustments and tweaks in the kind of design of what we're going to build. And then from there, we actually write up the code, test it on testnet, and get it ready to go. So this Bravo release is our next big release. It has, I can't off the top of my head spout out all the different pieces it has. One of them is the ability to transfer a FIO address if you haven't actually used that address yet, which is kind of important. We can transfer domains today, which is an improvement we made in a previous update, but you can't transfer addresses yet. So now you'll be able to do that. So you could, for example, get a bunch of addresses for your friends and family and transfer them to them. That would be really cool. A number of the other performance improvements, a really important one dealing with requests, FIO requests. If you get too many in one account, it can be a little slow to query those. And obviously we're gonna have thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of those in the future. So we have some really important improvements. There's something called a table migration that's part of this upgrade, which is really technically important and challenging. And our block producer team is amazing. We've already had a couple people step up to be able to help manage that process. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, so a bunch of just technical details that go into it. I won't break down all the different things, but once we get the release notes completed, we could talk about that more. But it is going up on testnet, and we will be testing it with our community. Very excited about continued progress from the team. I actually just saw the pull request from develop into, I think it was our master branch earlier today, and I was commenting on it. So it's top of mind, and I was thinking about it. So we're continually making improvements to the protocol itself. Really a lot of activity there. If you want to check that out, check out our GitHub, FIO.contracts, and also the FIO branch as well.
Yeah, if you're newer to FIO and all of this seems like it's a lot of information hitting you, my recommendation would be to join the Discord conversation. That's where a lot of the devs hang out, the BPs, the block producers, some of the core business side and marketing team are all there, PR, etc. And that is fioprotocol.io/chat, also in the description. And but yeah, that will be a good starting point to get connected in and hear more about what's going on. And the cool thing is that because we are operating in this decentralized manner, everything's getting documented. Everything's getting documented, has a home, and so there's no shortage of materials to read for anybody who wants to know what's going on. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just excited about the next year. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming, and I'm excited to continue to grow the community. We've got some ideas of how we can kind of get a core group of ambassadors that were really passionate about what we're doing and can help us kind of move forward and get this integrated into more products and services, tell more people about it, help people get their own free FIO addresses to our partners that are doing that now. And so I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to growing the community. I've been having fun the last week or so, kind of doing on my own personal Twitter account with my own funds, just doing some giveaways. Like I actually did one recently where I was like, hey, tell me about a crypto company that's not a wallet or exchange that has their own token that's doing like $1 million in revenue. And I've given away, I think like 40, 45 bucks, just $5 a piece answering those questions. And it was cool because they gave me the answer in the FIO request in the data, which is kind of fun. I also was asking about, I think it was like $2 per person I was giving out for, oh, I'm forgetting now what the other one was. It's just another question. Like I had a thought. And then today I was playing around with, send me your memes. I think I started that last night. So I was giving like $1.50 away for people that would send me funny memes. But it's just so neat, to be able to do that so easily with FIO and FIO requests. I had a lot of fun with that. So I'm looking forward to just doing fun stuff like that and seeing what other community members come up with as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, from my vantage point, more on the business and end user facing front is there's not one person, and a lot of them are C-suite decision makers. Not one person has ever not had the experience of like, whoa, this is really awesome what you guys are doing for the industry. And so I think one of the keys that is overarching mission in 2021 is to just get that word out, evangelize, get as many, singular or multiple conversations going where people are understanding more about FIO. And so if you feel like you can add to that, if there's connections that you have or people that that, you think should understand about FIO and what FIO is doing for the industry, let us know. Reach me. I'm on Discord, Crypto Kaitie. Luke is Luke Stokes on there. But would love to hear from you guys. That's it.
Awesome. Great update, Kaitie. I'm looking forward to the next ones coming up next year. Thanks so much for your time too.
Happy New Year, everybody. Here's to a better 2021 than 2020. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.